February 27, 2010, 3:34 a.m. For nearly 80% of Chile's population, the ground did not simply tremble, it sustained a violent 3-minute rupture.
Breaking news from Chile, where a massive earthquake has killed at least 78 people and triggered a tsunami.
Really, the city is completely devastated, not only by the earthquake, but also a tsunami that completely destroyed and flooded this part of the city where I am.
This is a big one. The magnitude 8.8 quake struck during the night and was much more powerful than the one that devastated
The news
Haiti.
from Chile this morning is horrendous, but it could have been worse. Still, the damage has been widespread and
so
extensive.
many disaster victims here complain that the government's response has collapsed, just like this building behind me. No one has figured out a way to get those needed emergency supplies and help across broken bridges and roads. The impassable has become the impossible.
To understand what happened that night and how one of the most earthquake-prepared nations on Earth was pushed to its limits, we have to step back a few hours. It was Friday, February 26th, the final stretch of summer in central Chile. Across the country, it was an ordinary night. Streets were active, and nothing on the surface suggested instability. Chile is a country accustomed to seismic activity. Its people grow up knowing the ground can move. Its cities are designed with that reality in mind. But preparedness does not alter tectonics. Offshore, along a 700-kilometer segment of the boundary between the Nazca Plate and the South American Plate, strain had been accumulating for generations. The plates continued to converge, locking energy into a section of crust that had not fully ruptured in over a century. The segment was known to be capable of failing. No one knew when. When the people of central Chile went to sleep, they were resting on top of a ticking time bomb. At 3:34 a.m., the fault line finally gave way. A 300-mile stretch of the Earth's crust ruptured along the boundary between the Nazca and South American plates. The magnitude 8.8 megathrust earthquake tore through an area comparable in size to England. Chilling footages capture the terror inside homes, offices, and outside, with survivors describing a deep, grinding roar rising from beneath the streets. Inside the cities, survival often came down to inches.
My hands were shaking. I couldn't open the door. I was trying to rescue my son, who was sleeping.
A 53-year-old truck driver traveling along Highway 5 later described watching a 40-ton pedestrian overpass shear from its supports and collapse toward his windshield. He swerved, missing the falling concrete by a matter of feet. Moments later, the national grid failed, plunging 93% of the country into total darkness. An IT professional in Santiago recalled fleeing his apartment in slippers, navigating a violently shaking stairwell in blackout conditions, stepping past injured neighbors to reach the street below.
I don't know how I got out, I don't know. But the building just fell completely.
In Concepcion, the newly opened 15-story Alto Rio apartment building failed catastrophically, and the structure toppled onto its side, trapping residents.
At this moment, firefighters continue trying to rescue some perhaps 48 people still trapped in a building that you see behind me.
Hospitals across the region sustained structural damage. Medical staff moved critical patients into parking lots and open courtyards, treating traumatic injuries under emergency lighting and moonlight. The force of the rupture was so significant that NASA scientists later confirmed it shifted the Earth's axis by several centimeters and shortened the length of a day, but the greater danger was offshore. The earthquake had displaced vast sections of seafloor upward, transferring enormous energy into the Pacific Ocean. Within minutes, a tsunami was radiating outward from the rupture zone. Complicating the crisis, the blackout disrupted communication between Chile's Navy and national emergency authorities. An initial tsunami alert was issued, then withdrawn amid uncertainty in the available data.
Clear on this. We weren't sufficiently precise with the information we gave the president as to whether to maintain or cancel the tsunami warning.
Relying on those assessments, President Michelle Bachelet addressed the country by radio, urging calm and stating that no confirmed tsunami threat had been detected.
I want to call on all the people of Chile to remain calm. It's obviously a big earthquake.
Along the coast, thousands who had moved to higher ground began returning to their homes. Within 30 minutes of the quake, the ocean withdrew dramatically from several sections of shoreline. Survivors described an unnatural silence followed by a low, rushing sound. When the water returned, it advanced inland as a powerful, debris-laden surge, carrying fragments of homes. In Concepcion, a mother later recounted pushing her children through a second-story window onto a neighboring roof as floodwaters overtook the street below. In the darkness, families were separated. Some searched for days before learning who had survived.
So I was out all day and all night searching near the river. Nothing. And just now, we went up again, and the police told us there was a child, and I thought it to be my child.
I don't know where my husband is. He's missing. He was taken by the water.
Hundreds of miles offshore on Robinson Crusoe Island, a 12-year-old girl named Martina Maturana noticed the harbor rapidly emptying. She ran to the town center and rang a manual fire bell, prompting residents to move uphill before the surge arrived.
At first, I didn't want to look out the window to see what happened. When I did, I saw a big wave getting close. I yelled at my dad. He grabbed my little sister and we left the house. He told me, "Go, go," and I went to ring the bell.
Her actions are credited with preventing significant loss of life. When daylight revealed the scale of destruction, the humanitarian crisis deepened. With electricity, water, and communications disrupted, looting broke out in parts of Concepcion.
There is no food, no water, no gasoline, no electricity. So people are really getting desperate, and the government is having trouble getting assistance to those people. It's a really dramatic situation.
At El Manzano prison, inmates initiated a riot amid structural damage, and more than 200 prisoners escaped. The government declared a state of catastrophe and deployed military forces to restore order and enforce curfews in the most heavily affected areas.
I have declared a disaster area in 6 regions. This will allow us to immediately make resources available to help people in the affected areas.
When the final count was completed, 525 people were confirmed dead. It was a heartbreaking number. Yet engineers around the world examined the data and asked a difficult question. Why was the toll not far higher? Just weeks earlier, a magnitude 7.0 earthquake had struck Haiti, killing more than 200,000 people. Chile's earthquake released hundreds times more energy, yet the vast majority of Chile's modern buildings remained standing. Following the catastrophic 1960 Valdivia earthquake, Chile adopted some of the world's strictest building codes. The disaster of February 27th was not primarily a failure of engineering. It was a failure of communication under extreme conditions. Today, Chile's warning systems and emergency protocols have been extensively revised. Sensor networks are more robust. Interagency coordination has been restructured. But offshore, the Nazca Plate continues its steady descent beneath South America. Strain is accumulating again. Along the Chilean coast, the question is never whether the Earth and the ocean will rise again. It's only when.